Okay, so with reviewers going through the game and their reviews ready to go live at noon on the 30th, Gamescom giving players a preview for the game, and of course the leaks running around the internet, I found myself particularly interested in one comment. Pete Hines was interviewed at Gamescom and he said this.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, like, there's really not an amount of time that I'm comfortable enough of, like, now you've played enough Starfield to get what this game is. Because, like, I'm at 150, 160 hours on my current playthrough, and, like, I haven't even come close to like, there is so much stuff I have intentionally not done. It's, like, we try and tell everybody how big this game is, and the folks that are playing it, like, one of the few things they will tell us is, yeah, you weren't kidding how big, like, I can't believe how big it is. Like, yeah, it's content and explore, like, no matter how you want to play, there is so much for you to do in this game.
Now, this is amazing for the price that we're paying. People are still playing Skyrim with mods even 12 years after its release, and the same is going to be said about Starfield. But in a world where No Man's Sky exists as probably the largest game in existence, as far as I know, is the size and scope of Starfield a problem, or does it manage to solve the problem that No Man's Sky has of being too big? I'm a big fan of open world games. I love the idea of seeing something in the distance and wandering over to explore it. Skyrim did this well, and it was a great feeling knowing I stood in a small town just under a crypt in a mountain that held deadly secrets, and that I could simply climb the mountain to get to it. In the case of the Throat of the World, climbing that mountain was an adventure in its own right thanks to the hazards that were present on the way up. No Man's Sky, after years of development, is similar now that base building exists, except the building is on a galactic scale, and the idea behind your exploration is to simply wander the vastness of space and accomplish whatever goals you might have set for yourself. Maybe making a credit farm earning you billions of credits, or searching for and upgrading the perfect freighter or spaceship. It's directionless and nearly endless thanks to how the world was implemented through procedural generation. The Starfield reins in that vastness of space exploration by making the space you do explore worth exploring. Unfortunately, that means the feeling of cruising the atmosphere at high speeds won't be possible. But in exchange, we get a system that actively puts places of interest in front of us to give us something to do in our current game session. I feel like this is very much like 7 Days to Die, where you get your area generated and then you wander around exploring the area looking for resources and dealing with zombies. And considering what we know of the storytelling and world building of Bethesda, these POIs are going to be full of stuff to do, and considering that base building is a thing, there may even be a way to take control of a POI and turn it into a base. If not in vanilla, then through mods. Hopefully, because that honestly sounds like a great time to me. But with that design choice, we wind up with an uncomfortable truth. The over 1,000 planets of Starfield are not full planets. They're areas that generate instanced dungeons for you to play around in based on the biome that the planet represents, and since they're instanced, that also means that they're limited in size. In a recently leaked video, we're shown a player running from their ship across a desert until they reach the border of the instanced area. And in the comments of that video and anywhere else talking about that leak, you're going to find two groups of players. The players who hate that they're unable to fully explore an entire planet and are met with a border after walking for 10 minutes in a single direction, and players who understand that walking for 10 minutes in a single direction means that the area you're given to explore and build on is actually enormous. If players are being honest with themselves and others, they're going to admit that even if they could fly or walk around a planet and fully explore every nook and cranny of it, they will not ever actually do that. If Bethesda simply improved on what No Man's Sky did, then the planets in Starfield are going to be more deliberate with their content rather than blanket coding the entire planet with the same objects across its entirety using procedural generation. In my opinion, this is definitely the right choice, since Starfield is a role-playing game first and a space exploration sim second. The goal of Starfield is to let you create a character with a background and tell a great story with your character as the star. The space exploration just happens to be a part of the overall experience. No Man's Sky is a space sim first, and a role-playing game second, or maybe third. If you've played through the story, you understand that there's not really much to it other than unlocking different game mechanics, and your character is just a nameless, faceless entity with no real history or future. Using instanced areas this way will allow Bethesda to better tell their story through places of interest and pre-built cities, and allow your character to grow and develop through those experiences, while the big empty areas are there for you to hunt for resources for your character and then to do the survival building thing. Maybe you'll be able to build a sprawling money machine on that leaked desert planet. Even though Starfield planets won't be fully explorable, it doesn't mean that the game will be any less enjoyable because of it, because those instanced planets are programmed to put things in front of you. Then, when we look past Bethesda and into the world of modding, we've already been told that modders will be able to create their own planets, which simply shows the scope of possibility that this game holds thanks to the modding community and the base nature of Starfield itself. My point is that even if you think you want to explore an entire planet, the truth is that you probably wouldn't, even if you could, simply because the other tasks that are going to distract you or prioritize your time. I mean, it might be cool to get your name in a headline, but it ultimately doesn't matter if your goal is just to play the game. Are you really going to spend hours walking around a planet looking for secrets, or are you going to spend that time leveling up skills or working on side quests? But hey, that's honestly just me. I'm here for the RPG and the crafting and building systems, and not the space exploration sim. Well, now that I think about it, I might care enough about it to go for the achievement for exploring every planet in vanilla Starfield. I was going to say Skyrim, but that's a different video entirely. But anyway, that's my little rant on the boundary drama, and how it's a good thing in order to prevent the overabundance of empty space in Starfield, which, I mean, there's already a lot of it. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm particularly interested in why some of you genuinely think that boundaries are a bad thing. As you can see, we're shifting from Baldur's Gate to Starfield, so sub to the channel if you don't want to miss more videos like these in the future. But until then, like the video if you liked the video, dislike it if you disliked it, and until next time, I'm Space Coconut, and you're welcome.